Teachers will walk out, closing Colorado's third largest school district tomorrow. Tonight, it's a threat to publish their names that's drawing a response from the governor. Helping Coloradans who are going to spend this cold night in their cars. Their choice instead of a shelter, because they're saving paychecks to afford a place to stay. Hospital bed space has been such a focus since the start of the pandemic. Let's step back and look at how our numbers compare to the rest of the country and the world. Denver loves to brag about its real-time snowplow tracking during big storms. All right, let's go out and see if it's for real, or if it's just there to make us feel better. And I hope that you had help shoveling today. Not sure this qualifies as help, but it's wonderful. So, it's next. It snowed and the roads got plowed. How about that? It can be done, Colorado. The roads are surprisingly decent tonight, thanks to CDOT's Plowzilla, Darth Blader, Snowtorious BIG, and all of Denver's baby plows for the side streets. The plows are out, and now you can track them online to see when they're going to clear your route. Our Marshall Zellinger went out to check this tracking system's accuracy.
15 minutes ago, 3rd and Inca. There are worse ways to spend a snow day. I mean, instead of being in a car trying to find a snowplow 15 minutes after the city of Denver's snowplow tracker listed its location, I could be Mark Salinger, shoveling my dad's driveway live on air for our competitors.
This is my son, Mark. Thank you very much, Mark. I really appreciate it.
Denver has a plow tracking website. Orange icons are the big boys. Blue icons are the residential plows on pickup trucks. Click on any one icon and you'll see the streets that the truck has plowed. What this page shows, however, is delayed 15 minutes.
We created this delay to ensure they were safe so that so that basically people weren't tracking down the plows and potentially, doing harm.
Awkward. Though we're not doing harm. We just want to know if the tracking website is accurate. We just have to find a dang plow. Found it! We found a plow at 32nd and Federal. It went across Federal, so now it's going down the named streets. There's a Parks and Rec plow in front of us, but the other plow we're watching is in front of that. And then I want to verify with the city plow tracker. It's going to take 15 minutes, but did the plow do what we see it doing? Will that reflect on the map? But we won't know for 15 minutes. While we were following these two plows, the tracker had them nowhere near where we were. But 15 minutes later, yep, they appeared. The orange icon is the big guy. The blue icon is the Parks and Rec pickup truck. It's the pickup truck that for a number of years, Denver did not send out. From 2006 to 2017, residential plows only cleared snow if the forecast was for a foot or more.
What we found in 2006 and 2007 is we had a series of storms where we had snow piling up, followed by very cold temperatures, and we had deep ice ruts.
Instead of investing in icebreaker trucks, the city, in 2017, changed the criteria for plows to go through residential neighborhoods. If it's going to snow a bit with cold temperatures right after, the residential pickups will likely be out.
We felt that they could do what they do best, which is provide a path to the main streets and prevent deep ice ruts. So they did go out in this storm. So that's how we look at each storm now.
For Next, I'm Marshall Zellinger.
So you want to track your Denver plow 15 minutes after the fact at least? Denver.gov, or pardon me, it's denvergov.org, denvergov.org/plow tracker. And if the plow does not come to your street, you're always welcome to summon Mark Salinger because he is now done shoveling at the palatial Salinger estate. Douglas County schools are canceling class for tomorrow after more than 1,500 teachers called out in protest of a secret move by conservative school board members to fire Superintendent Corey Wise. Wise has been with the district in various roles for 25 years, and given the enormous size of this walkout, it appears he's got serious support from classroom teachers. Dougco School Board, has a new conservative majority. On Monday, members of the minority accused their colleagues of secretly and illegally trying to force the superintendent to resign or be fired. That kind of thing has to happen in an open meeting under Colorado law. Teachers are responding with this mass call-out on Thursday. Today, some conservative leaders, including former 9 News legal analyst George Brockler, called on the school board to compile and publish a list of the names of every teacher who is called out for tomorrow. Democratic Governor Jared Polis responded to that threat, saying, quote, "Public discussion and debate is healthy and important, but doxing of elected officials, journalists, and now teachers is always wrong and dangerous." This threat to publish the names of teachers who protest the conservative school board has more weight in Douglas County school districts because the teachers there don't have collective bargaining. They don't have the same protections as teachers do thanks to unions in most districts in Colorado. Douglas County Federation President Kevin DePasquale told Next tonight, quote, "Without due process, how can any employee in Douglas County School District feel safe and want to work here? Doxing is not okay," DePasquale continued. He wrote, "Any community leader knows this and understands the danger in threatening or demeaning your child's kindergarten teacher or your neighbor." We've taken a look at the latest COVID data in Colorado. I'm going to tell you that this is ICU beds because it's cut off on my screen. I don't know about yours. This is ICU bed capacity, which is slowly opening back up. 89% of them have been in use over the last week. It's the first time that number's dropped below 90% since October. So there are currently 157 ICU beds open and available for anybody who needs them, COVID or otherwise, somewhere in the state. Hospital capacity and trying to avoid straining that system has been one of the few constants throughout the pandemic. We know that Colorado's hospital bed capacity is lower than other states, and America's is lower compared to similar developing countries or to other developed countries. It's odd seeing that we are big spenders on health care in this country. Anusha Roy looks at why.
There are so many factors in judging health care. To level the playing field, let's look at the number of hospital beds per 1,000 people. Colorado ranks 45th on the list. Gut reaction? That's not great to hear during a pandemic. But this stat has been going down since 1999 as more people are getting outpatient care versus staying in the hospital, according to the Colorado Hospital Association. While Colorado's numbers are lower than other states, the U.S. is following the same pattern.
I teach this in my ethics class.
Dr. Ricardo Gonzalez Fisher at MSU Denver and a surgical oncologist broke the numbers down.
The United States spends much more on healthcare than any other nation in the world.
He said it's close to 17% of the gross domestic product, nearly double compared to other developed countries. But when it comes to hospital beds per 1,000 people,
the average for the OECD is 4.4. The United States is under 3. So we are below the average, even if we're spending double.
One of our sharp viewers who brought this up asked, how is that possible, especially during a pandemic when we spend so much?
It's a very long conversation.
Dr. Gonzalez Fisher said it involves the tangled web that is insurance companies, pharmaceutical companies, and our hospital systems.
But we cannot have 10 beds per 1,000 people just waiting for us to need them as an emergency.
Another factor is the healthcare system trying to strike a balance between meeting needs and what makes financial sense.
So we asked the Colorado Hospital Association, when it comes to the number of beds, was this a missed opportunity to be better prepared for COVID? Their answer was not necessarily when you look at how the state handled the pandemic so far. They said they did have to activate crisis standards of care for staffing, did not have to do the same for hospital care, Kyle, like we had seen in some other states.
Anusha, I'm sure a lot of things go into this. I feel like you fall back on like the oldest cliche or at least stereotype that, well, Colorado's a healthy state. That's got to help, right?
Right. I wanted to really include that perspective, right? Don't just focus on one factor, which is the number of beds. The other things are that we have good preventative care. We're ranked high on that, as well as quality of care. All of those are very important when you are looking at the overall health of the state. But Kyle, one of the things that is definitely a work in progress is access to care. Can people afford and do they have coverage to even go to the doctor in the first place?
Yep. All right, thank you, Anusha Roy. Dramatic television turn. Many metro area counties are dropping their mask mandates this week. Douglas County did not have a mask mandate to drop because they dropped their health experts when they asked for one. Next viewer named Matt was curious how Douglas County's case rates and positivity compare to neighboring counties. Good question. Again, like Anusha's story, a lot of factors at play here, right? Douglas County does have demographic advantages over neighboring counties, which often can skew their health outcomes for the better. But you asked a good question, so here's the latest snapshot. According to the Tri-County Health Department, which kept tracking COVID data for Douglas County even after getting fired by them, they say Douglas County is seeing 525 COVID-19 cases per 100,000 people over the last 7 days. Denver, which did have a mask mandate, has a higher one-week cumulative incidence rate, 601 cases per 100,000 people. Then when you look at positivity rate, Douglas County's positivity rate is discernibly higher than Denver's positivity rate, so more virus circulating in that community. It's almost 20% compared to Denver's 16.3%. Hey, reminder, Next is not going to air tomorrow or Friday this week due to some early Olympic competitions and then the Olympic opening ceremony on Friday. During the Olympics, join us for Next, but before. We're airing at 5 p.m. for 2 weeks starting on Monday, and we will stay at that special time through February 18th. We will go back to the future, so to speak, our regular time slot on February 21st. So there are Coloradans who are going to spend this frigid cold night in their cars because that's where they live for the time being. Some of them are saving up money to afford the deposit or first month's rent on a new place. And there are Coloradans who are helping to make that temporary situation safer and easier. It's why your Word of Thanks microgiving campaign this week supports Hope of Longmont. It's a nonprofit that operates a shelter for people experiencing homelessness and also offers a safe parking program. The Safe Lot, Safe Parking program is preferred by some people who can't bring their pets into shelters, just aren't comfortable there, worried about being in that environment. Hope of Longmont says they found the vast majority of people who end up on the streets in Longmont, homeless there, are able to be helped into housing. And sometimes it even happens pretty quickly. I really appreciate the thought and care that Hope has put into this Safe Lot parking program. The folks in charge tell me they often see people who have had to leave housing in order to avoid having an eviction on their record. And they just need to save like a couple weeks' pay so they can get a new place. So that's why Hope provides a safe, secure place for people to sleep in their cars overnight, along with hot showers and warm meals at that site. And knowing that a lot of those folks have pets that they don't want to leave in their cold cars when they go to work in the morning, Hope has even arranged for doggy daycare so that people can go to work and earn a living without worrying about their pets. And all the while, Hope's caseworkers are there to help connect them with services and housing. This is not a solution to all the problems, but it's smart stuff. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word thanks, and I'll send you the link to donate. We know that even $5 helps when we do it together, so as always, I'll match the first 50 donations of $5 that come in. Hope has a strategy to help Coloradans who find themselves living in their cars to get through that time quickly and safely while they work, save some money, get back into housing. And together, we can help that nonprofit expand its work. Former Dolphins coach Brian Flores explains how he knew that Broncos leaders were hungover when he says they showed up an hour late for the biggest interview of his career. Betrayal is cold, like a snowball to the face.
It's just fun to play with, and it gets us off of school for snow day. And oh my God!
This is the last episode of Next this week, so your good news gets aired tonight. A snow day edition of our weekly Reason to Smile. Next. One of the biggest stories in America today is the racial discrimination lawsuit against the NFL. Former Dolphins head coach Brian Flores says he could tell when the Broncos blew off his head coaching interview in 2019. He said they showed up late, nursing hangovers from the night before. Flores told ESPN he had 9 interviews with NFL teams in his career, and he says only one team ever showed up late, the Denver Broncos. Flores was asked how precisely he knew that Broncos leaders, including former GM John Elway, were crapulous from the previous night's libations.
Well, I mean, when you sit at a table with 5 people who are interviewing you, you know who's, you can tell who's asking questions, who's into the interview, and who's not necessarily in the right state, I would say, in that moment. I certainly did not feel like I was taken seriously, and that I was just there as a Rooney Rule.
Rooney Rule requires the teams interview a minority candidate for a head coaching job. The Broncos say Flores' allegations are false, and they insist that his interview started on time.
The snow will gradually end tonight from north to south. Temperatures are already in the single digits and lower teens, but wind chill values are well below 0, and the numbers will continue to fall as skies clear. We've recorded anywhere from 5 to 10 inches of snow across the metro area, DIA less than 3. Foothill areas, again, 12 to 14 inches in areas like Boulder. Unbelievable. The winter weather and travel advisories will be canceled out this evening as the heavier snow bands shift south and east away from the area, but still some pockets of of snow between now and about 8 o'clock. So really, as skies clear, the big focus becomes the temperatures. Lows tonight, -9 Denver, -29 in Granby. But we get sunshine tomorrow and a high of 21 and a nice warming trend heading into the weekend.
Giving 100% effort, even though you're not really helping. You know what? That's something that's not horrible. Best video of the morning. That is Sasha, looking like the weakest link on any group project you ever had in school. Noah from Aurora shared this video with us this morning. That's his wife, Bree, doing the heavy lifting with snow removal. But you know what? Sasha is trying her best. Fridays are for good news, and also for Olympic opening ceremonies this week, so you get it tonight.
And the great news about today is we have a snow day.
The Great Uniter in Colorado today. Next. As we mentioned earlier, no next tomorrow or Friday, Olympic stuff. No way, though, we're going to skip our favorite end of the week tradition. We've learned that what we choose to put on the news often is not the biggest headline in your life. It's why for years now we go out at least once a week to ask people about the biggest good news in their world.
And the great news about today is we have a snow day.
Just arrived overnight, so you wake up to a winter wonderland. My name is Dan Clark, and my good news is today is a snow day, and I'm here with my beautiful children, and we are giving Mom some well-deserved time off. She's a teacher, and she deserves a relaxing snow day more than anybody.
I think going fast down the hills and not seeing my teachers here is really nice.
Well, we don't have to go to school. And, well, my mom gets to stay home and have relaxing cocoa and stuff.
And we're excited to get some energy out and enjoy a beautiful Colorado day.
Well, it's a triple-decker sled where my dad is on the bottom, I'm on the middle, and my brother is on the top, and we sort of just plow through the snow.
It's just fun to play with, and it gets us off of school for snow day. And oh my God! Get out, Sonny.
This is our dog Guapito. He loves jumping in and making holes. Good boy. Good boy, P.
No! Oh, you! No!
I love the snow because I grew up in San Diego, so the snow is still very new to me, and it's just a wonderful thing that the kids can play with their friends outside on this beautiful day.
Can you take off my hat?
Yeah.
And beat it against something? I hope that we get another snow day, but I hope that we have some fun and enjoy the day.
Remember when they were going to replace snow days with remote learning days? Oh, tragedy that would have been. A nonprofit that provides safety and support to Coloradans living in their cars as they get back on their feet, and how we're helping them together tonight. That and your feedback next. The idea of spending a night in a car when it's this cold is pretty scary, but we know that there are Coloradans who are going to sleep in their cars tonight because they don't have housing or another place to crash, and they just don't feel comfortable in a homeless shelter. Up in Longmont, there's a nonprofit that works to make sure that car living is as safe and comfortable as possible as they help people get into housing as quickly as possible. Hope of Longmont arranges safe parking spaces with somebody on site overnight, hot showers and warm meals when people wake up for work, even care for their pets during the day so that they can go to work, they can save money, and they can hopefully quickly get out of their cars and into housing. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word thanks to 303-871-1491, and I'll send you the link to join me in giving. Steve writes in tonight to say, is that real fire behind you? No, it's a TV screen. Do you think the bosses would let us start a fire in the studio? See you next time.